gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, shout around? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
We're learning more as well about yesterday's horrific crash in the St. Roch neighborhood, including the name of the young woman who was killed. 21-year-old Anastasia Rayborn was killed after police say 31-year-old Anthony Cooper ran her over with a car. Her sister says Cooper was her boyfriend. At 6 p.m., Anastasia's family speaks with WWL Louisiana's Eleanor Tabone about the little sister they just learned more as well about yesterday's horrific crash in the St. Roch neighborhood, including the name of the young woman who was killed. 21-year-old Anastasia Rayborn was killed after police say 31-year-old Anthony Cooper ran her over with a car. Her sister says Cooper was her boyfriend. At 6 p.m., Anastasia's family speaks with WWL Louisiana's Eleanor Tabone about the little sister they just lost. New Orleans police are investigating the homicide of a woman tonight where the weapon was a man in a car. It happened right behind the St. Roch Market near the intersection of St. Roch Avenue and Murray Street. Meg Ferris was at the scene as it unfolded. We join her there live now with the very latest. Meg?
Well, that's right, Katie. This call originally came in as a wreck and a fatality of a pedestrian around 11 o'clock this morning.
Wow, so we have a situation where it's a domestic violence situation. The man is dating a woman and runs her over. Now, this is obviously extremely tragic, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. But it's just really scary nowadays, especially when you are dating, because you never know who you're really dealing with.
Right here after a car crashed into this building you see behind me that has since been boarded up. But when NOPD got to the scene here at Murray and St. Roch, they changed their investigation to a homicide. And what happened has eyewitnesses upset.
It's just all sad, very sad. You don't know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning.
This woman who lives in the building that was hit is still very upset and shaken from what she heard and later saw in detail on her surveillance camera.
It's just really loud, and you didn't know what happened.
But when she looked at the playback of the security camera, she could clearly see the moment the tragic incident happened.
Oh, it's something to see.
You see the woman.
And the fact that they have this on film is even more upsetting, I'm sure, for the family, because you see the brutality of a crime like this, to run over somebody that you were supposed to love and protect and provide for and take care of.
Woman losing her life.
He just drove over her right through there.
Her video was turned over to NOPD and not shared publicly. She says it shows a man and a woman in the silver car in a long argument, and then the woman gets out of the car.
And then she walks to the sidewalk this way, and he just goes right at her.
The business owner across the street shared this security camera video of the silver car driving up and stopping, but the crash is out of camera range. He ran outside after the crash and saw the driver trying to climb out of the wreckage.
He was frantic, trying to get in and out, and the car was kind of, he couldn't really open the doors to the car because it was wedged in there. So he was kind of hopping around, just all frantic.
The woman says NOPD was on the scene fast and arrested the man who was driving the car. John, did you see the police arrest the man?
Yes.
How did that happen? Was there any resistance?
None. No, he didn't. He got cuffed and taken away pretty quick.
So obviously by now we don't have a description of the individual who has done this, but guys, unfortunately, I'm here to tell you it was a super gremlin on Demon Time. And once we get into more of the details of what happened, you're really going to see the wickedness that needs to be exposed and that needs to be confronted, because this is an issue that we've been talking about for the longest, and it's IR crimes, or interracial crimes. And this is another example, and it really resonates with all people. Because there's so many different angles you can go at this conversation with. But I will let you guys figure that out in the chat. It's just tough covering these stories, because obviously we want and are praying and are hoping for different outcomes, but it just seems like these guys, they're just ready to crash out.
Quickly.
No resistance, no yelling any words or anything?
No.
NOPD is calling this a homicide, but have no further details while the investigation is ongoing. And Katie, we have not yet been told who the woman is who lost her life here today. And also, police have not told us if that man that they took into custody, if he's been booked with anything at this time. But we will keep bringing you updates on WWLTV.com and on later newscasts. Reporting live from the St. Rock area, Meg Farris, WWL, Louisiana.
Tonight, NOPD is connecting the dots in an investigation that started out as a traffic fatality, but it quickly turned into a homicide. The scene unfolded with a woman struck and killed in the St. Rock neighborhood this morning.
Police say the man behind the wheel was taken into police custody. WDSU reporter Shay O'Connor live from the St. Rock neighborhood at St. Rock and Murray with what witnesses saw and heard. Shay?
Such a terrible situation. Witnesses in this area tell me that they actually saw the woman and man talking at a nearby coffee shop in this area earlier this morning when they began to argue, and then things escalated.
Decided to leave, and they got in the car and they were still arguing. And then she got out the car, and then a man decided it's time to take her out and drove right into the building.
The horrific scene, shocking.
And he did this in broad daylight, witnesses and everything. I mean, this is horrible, y'all.
St. Rock neighbors Monday morning.
You never know who you're drinking coffee with.
And the owners of this pink building, where the gray SUV crashed into.
You don't know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning.
The owners tell us they live upstairs and heard the very loud crash just around 11 a.m. They were not prepared to see the body of a helpless woman lying inside their building.
I thought they were just robbing the house or something. And that's where I called the police from. Then I poked out the window and the car had backed out again. So I could see it was another incident, not a robbery.
WDSU obtained this video. It shows the moments a gray SUV drives into this area of Murray. It stops and then it begins to drive. That's because witnesses say the argument lasted for a while. This man owns the bar directly across the street and says he heard the loud boom and came out to the man pacing back and forth.
He was frantic, trying to get in and out, and the car was he couldn't really open the doors to the car because it was wedged in there.
Seconds later,
I looked in and saw the woman and called for an ambulance.
Officials say the woman died on scene. The man behind the wheel was arrested. At this time, we do not know the relationship between the two. And no one else was downstairs at the time of the accident. As you can see now, this area where the accident happened has been boarded up. NOPD says they are now investigating this as a homicide. And of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on the situation. Reporting live from the St. Rock area, Shay O'Connor, WDSU News.
The New Orleans Police Department has identified the man accused of killing a woman in a crash in St. Rock. Police say this man, Anthony Cooper, hit the woman with his car before crashing into a business yesterday on Murray Street. Cooper was arrested. He has been booked for second-degree murder at the Orleans Parish Justice Center. As we first
So we finally got an identity on the individual who committed this crime. Man, I mean, just when you thought we had seen it all in 2024, you know, it's crazy because the guy, he doesn't even look like he would be able to get with a woman of her caliber, all right? Because this is a very attractive woman. But it seems like he was able to thug max alpha simp his way into the relationship, which eventually led to the demise of this young woman. Man, I mean, it's just super unfortunate. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Lane's Parish Justice Center. As we first reported yesterday, police initially thought the woman was a pedestrian. However, this surveillance video from a witness allegedly shows her getting out of Cooper's car after what appears to have been an argument. You don't see it in the video here, but later that video allegedly shows Cooper running over the woman. Her sister identifies her as 21-year-old Anastasia Rayborn. Our newsroom working on this story will have much more coming up later on the WWL Louisiana News at 5 o'clock.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
All right, thank you, Chris. Police are investigating the homicide of a woman tonight where the weapon was a man in a car. It happened this morning at the St. Rock area. Meg Ferris was actually at the scene when it all unfolded.
Well, this all happened around 11 o'clock this morning, and the people who live and work here around Murray and St. Rock say after seeing the surveillance video of how the woman lost her life, it was very upsetting to them.
It's just all sad, very sad. You don't know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning.
This woman who lives in the building that was hit is still very upset and shaken from what she heard and later saw in detail on her surveillance camera.
It's just really loud, and didn't know what happened.
But when she looked at the playback of the security camera, she could clearly see the moment the tragic incident happened.
Oh, it's something to see.
You see the woman losing her life.
He just drove over her, right through there.
Her video was turned over to...
And yeah, no, I mean, that's just despicable. Despicable to drive straight over your girlfriend. God, I mean, dude, we are in some vicious times right now. Vicious, man. These super gremlins are on demon time.
To NOPD and not shared publicly. She says it shows a man and a woman in the silver car in a long argument, and then the woman gets out of the car.
And then she walks to the sidewalk this way, and he just goes right at her.
The business owner across the street shared this security camera video of the silver car driving up and stopping, but the crash is out of camera range. He ran outside after the crash and saw the driver trying to climb out of the wreckage.
He was frantic, trying to get in and out.
Andy says police quickly arrested the driver without resistance. Now, NOPD is calling this a homicide, but they have not told us if the man who was taken into custody today has been booked with anything, and they also have not identified the woman who lost her life here today. Meg Ferris, WWL, Louisiana.
That's a $2 million bond for the man accused of running over and killing a woman yesterday in Murray Street after an argument. Anthony Cooper faces a charge of second-degree murder. Court documents identify the victim as 21-year-old Anastasia Rayborn. Her family provided Fox 8 with these photos of her.
I mean, you see just a very beautiful young lady, and this monster took her out over an argument, disagreement. Really doesn't matter what the argument was about. If you can't agree and you have a disagreement, you just walk away, take the L. But he was not able to do that. These overly emotional young black men out here in these streets are crashing out one by one, and unfortunately this is what we have here. And we've been talking about the domestic violence rates in the community. as we know that black women are 6 times more likely to be affected by domestic violence. And that is because of, yes, dysfunctional relationships, but then 2, we also have an issue with black manhood and what is perceived to be black manhood and all that kind of stuff. So until we attack these issues, we're not going to see a change. And I mean, it's just unfortunate that this young lady had to lose her life to this ignorance. I mean, it's crazy.
According to court documents, detectives are reviewing surveillance video that includes audio. A woman who lives near yesterday's crash site says her cameras captured what she believes was an argument before Rayborn was hit by the vehicle, which crashed into a building.
Anastasia, as a young woman, was an elegant, bright orb of light, just a radiant being. She looked like a model. She talked like a model. She was soft-spoken. She was dainty.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sister, I believe, family, whatnot, speaking on her behalf. I mean, the lives affected by one single irrational, emotional decision. We got to do better as a community. Really do. Because now our actions are leaking in, and they have been for a while, but they're leaking out rather into other communities, and there's going to be pushback, there's going to be backlash, which I continue to try and warn people about, but it seems like I'm not getting through to anyone. But you know, we can't just sit by and not say something about these brutal killings that are happening in the community, from the community, by the community. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Very small, well-spoken. All she really ever wanted was love, and she got the shit end of the stick her whole life. She was literally the redheaded stepchild, middle kid. There was 6 of us in the household, and she was the dead center. Age.
What was she like as a little sister?
Sometimes annoying, but she was my favorite sister.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Sharice Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. We begin tonight with more on the devastating murder we first brought you last night. Police say a young woman was run over and killed by a car driven by her boyfriend.
Now her sister tells us she was trapped in a cycle of abuse. Eleanor DeBone joining us now in studio. This is such a tragic story, Eleanor.
That is right, Katie and Sharice. Police say Anastasia Rayborn, a young mother, was killed Monday morning after her alleged boyfriend drove over her and crashed into a building.
So not only was she young, but she was a mother as well. Wow. I mean, I hope this isn't the mother of his child that he just deleted. Hold on, run that back.
Run over and killed by a car driven by her boyfriend.
Now her sister tells us she was trapped in a cycle of abuse. Eleanor DeBone joining us now in studio. This is such a tragic story, Eleanor.
That is right, Katie and Sharice. Police say Anastasia Rayborn, a young mother, was killed Monday morning after her alleged boyfriend drove over her and crashed into a building. Her 2-year-old son now without a mother and a father.
It's one of my favorite photos to exist, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. That's her and I whenever she was itty bitty.
Sky Guillory is now talking about her younger sister.
And obviously, you know, this woman, she is just gorgeous. I mean, she's a beautiful young lady, and honestly, it really doesn't matter what she looked like because a life is lost. And that's something that nobody can get back. The fact that we have these situations going on all over the place and it's being unspoken on, it really is. It's a problem. We definitely need more group accountability going on, more group acknowledgement going on, because, I mean, we got to put a stop to this.
In the past tense.
Anastasia, as a young woman, was an elegant, bright orb of light, just a radiant being. She looked like a model. She was soft-spoken. She was dainty.
Anastasia celebrated her 21st birthday in January. Sky is now asking why her little sister was snatched away before the world got to see her potential.
I can't understand how you can look at that beautiful angel of a being's face and want to harm her ever. Ever. Ever.
Monday morning, police arrived at the intersection of St. Roch Avenue and the 2300 block of Murray Street. Surveillance from a nearby business shows the car stopping. You can see someone get out. Then the car eventually drives off. A witness told us Monday Anastasia allegedly got out of the car and then the driver ran over her.
It was really loud and didn't know what happened.
NOPD says 31-year-old Anthony Cooper was charged with second-degree murder.
He got her a car that he never let her drive. He drove it for Lyft and then ultimately killed her with it.
Sky says the pair started dating in 2021. She says it wasn't long after that the abuse started and that she's witnessed violence between them.
He hit her in front of me.
Damn. Yeah, she should have been got out. Damn. I mean, wow. It's just horrible. It's horrible, man. The abuse in the community. It's a real thing. It's a real thing that we aren't talking about. All right. So I want you guys to share the video because this woman's story needs to be told.
He was calling her names. He knocked her on the ground. He pushed her down. He snatched the baby out of her arms.
She says when Anastasia was 17, she was her legal guardian. As a big sister, she was Anastasia's protector. Now she's feeling a burden of guilt.
Makes me feel guilty. Like I didn't try hard enough. I gave her a safe word. She told me the safe word. I helped.
A memorial now sits where Anastasia was killed, candles burning in her honor.
Eleanor, again, a tragic story. Thank you so much for that update.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! That's what we at work, at school,